Morning students. Today we are going to continue with our chapter number 6 that we are going through, and which was regarding the government system, that is democratic government. And in that we were going through about the three important organs of the government, where we first studied about the legislative. And in legislature we studied as to how the powers are divided, or the system is divided into two important parliamentary systems, forming the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. And individually we discussed about what were the important aspects or characteristics of both the houses called as the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Then we came across the executive part, and in this we studied about the form of government which is being formed by the executives, known as the executives, where the Prime Minister and other cabinet minister or council of minister plays an important role into taking the important or regulating the important affairs of the country as a whole. And individually there are important individual state ministers also who are responsible to take care about the responsibilities or duties to form government, and their duties in regarding to their own citizens or their own people under which they are or for which they have been elected. Now on the basis, we are going to now study particularly about the state government today, and learn as to what does and how does the state government is formed. Now as we have studied that parliament system has two important phases. One is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. That is the parliamentary system. In the same way, individual state government also have their own legislative assemblies, which is known as the Vidhan Sabha. Each and every state has its own parliament, or you can call it as a state legislative or the Vidhan Sabha. And what is the working of the Vidhan Sabha is that it has the same perspective or same duties as what we have discussed in Lok Sabha. The members who are elected through elections, through elections are known as the MLAs, member of legislative assemblies, and they are elected through election basis, and the person who gets maximum of votes from their people of a particular area, they are elected as the members of the legislative assembly or the Vidhan Sabha, and taking responsibility from individual areas from which they have been chosen from, and seeing that the development or the progress of that particular area for which they are chosen, or from people from where they are chosen, they take important responsibilities about it. Now on this basis, what is the term period of those people? It is same as 5 years. Once a person is elected, the person stays there for power to rule that particular constituency for about a term of 5 years. Now I told about constituency because we have already discussed what the meaning of constituency is. That but for during the election time, when a particular larger proportion of the areas are divided into smaller part or areas, and smaller individual areas are represented by a representative, and the person who wins the election from that particular small area becomes a member of the parliament or the legislative assembly. And these smaller areas that are being divided into are known as constituencies. Now coming to as to who are the person who regulates the state. Now what is the responsibility of the state legislature? Now legislative assembly or the Vidhan Sabha makes important laws regarding the state under the guidance or under the important guidelines that are being given to them by the directive principle of state policy as well as the Constitution of India. According to that, they have to make laws, important laws, regulations that by which the state is governed in a proper way. Now who is the head of the state? The governor is considered as the head of the state. The governor is considered each and every state has its own governor, and each of the governor are being appointed either by the Prime Minister of India or by the President of India under the recommendation of President, and their term is also for a period of 5 years. The next is who regulates the working of the government system. Now the government system of a particular state is regulated, or it is taken care by the chief minister. Now for the whole of the nation, it is the Prime Minister who is responsible. Now for a particular state, it is the chief minister who is responsible for the working of the states, and under him or her, there are various important ministers also appointed who assist the chief minister in its day-to-day activities. Now this is all about a brief details which states about how a state legislative assembly, or you say as Vidhan Sabha, works. Now we are going to discuss about the next important part, which is the judiciary system. Play. So the judiciary system is about the justice or the law interpreter. Now this is the third organ of the government. Now this third organ of the government, what is the work or what is the responsibility of this third organ? Now this third organ is the interpreter of the law. Now this interpreter, what does it mean by it is the interpreter of the law? Now as we know that Constitution is the law book that we have in India, which states about various different laws for different aspects of activities or things that have been done. Now under this, how a common person would understand what exactly is the meaning of a particular law that is written in the Constitution. Now this responsibility of making people understand the meaning and making people know what exactly the law or the constitutional law is stating is the important function of the judiciary system. Now they interpret the law in such a way that all the common people, or the understandable thing is that they understand the law, what it is stating in a proper or in a simple way. Now in this interpreting that we have different, we have Constitution of India and important other books of law that relates with the Constitution of India, and they interpret all the rules, regulations or law system under the judiciary system. Now in this, there are various levels of judiciary system that is been divided into. Number one, first of all we need to understand what is or who is the supreme judiciary or judicial system in our country, or which is known as the Apex Court of India. Now the Apex Court of India is the Supreme Court of India, which is located in Delhi. And this Supreme Court of India exists only one, there is only one Supreme Court for all of the India as a nation. Now this is the highest court of appeal, or you can call as the Apex Court of India. Now under them, now this thing is that who is the head, who takes or who regulates this working of the Supreme Court? Now the Chief Justice of India, who is appointed by the President with the recommendation of the other important executives or important executives. Now under the recommendation or the consideration of the President of India, the Chief Justice is appointed. Now for appointing this Chief Justice, there are certain criteria that has to be fulfilled. Once this criteria is fulfilled, from a certain list of candidates or certain list of Chief Justice, one person has been elected as the Chief Justice of India. The next level of court system or judicial system is the High Court. They are subsidiary or lower to the Supreme Court. Now High Courts are located in each and every single state of a country. Now there are certain states which also share one common High Court between two different states, and there are certain reasons for it, because of the division in the middle part, or in certain time when the state was one and it had been divided into two parts, but there was only existence of one single court earlier. So in that basis, one single court was only considered for the particular state. Now for taking example of Haryana and Punjab, you have one single court that is in Chandigarh, that is High Court, and individually there are one individual high courts in every state. Now this High Court is the highest court of justice for a particular state only, not a nation, for a particular state. And then comes the district or the session court. The district or the session court are there in individual constituencies or individual districts or session courts, and the important people who are appointed for them, judges that are appointed, are known as the district judges or the session judges. Now this important division of judicial system in our country is mentioned in just brief details about you to understand exactly what is the judiciary system or what is the meaning of the judiciary system and how it functions, how is it is appointed, and what are the different levels of judiciary system that exist in India. One is the Supreme Court, which is for the whole of the nation. Then you have the High Court, lower to it, which is which exists in each and every state levels, which is considered as the highest court of appeal for a particular state. Then you have the district or the session court, which is there inside the state for individual districts or sessions. And the people who take care of this of judicial system in the district or session court are known as the district judges or the session judges. So this is just brief details about the three important organs that we have discussed. One is the legislature, then you have the executive, then the third one is known as the judicial system. Now, as you all know that India as a nation, it does not only have states, it has certain union territories, a small fraction of territorial places or areas which are known as union territories. And these union territories are directly administered by the union government. People, importantly, who are appointed to take care of the administrative workings of the union territories are mostly done by the union government or the government which has been established at that present time. And this certain example, if you can take, is like Lakshadweep. Then we have Pondicherry, Andaman and Nicobar Island, Daman Diu. These are certain New Delhi or Delhi you call. Now these are certain smaller union territories that are being directly taken care by the union territories, and they appoint a individual administrator who takes care of the working of these union territories. So this is all about this particular chapter, which states about the government system, a democratic form of government as a whole. To understand the central level of the government system in brief, what we have studied is that you can find it here in this chapter, the last page, that this table or formation of this table has been given, where it states about the central or the union government, where it has been divided into three important organs: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary system. Now here it is written, see, the executives, who are the executives now? The president, the vice president, and another cabinet ministers. Now the legislature of the parliament consists of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, prime minister, and the members of the parliament who are appointed by the people through elections. Then we have the judiciary system, where Supreme Court of India is the apex court. Then we have a subsidiary court known as, lower to them is the High Court for individual states. Then individual districts or constituencies also have its own session or district courts. Now what are the responsibility, individual responsibility? Now executive responsibility is what? To pass important laws related to our country in the legislature or parliament through a system, in a procedure. There is a procedure for passing any kind of laws that are brought forward in the parliament. So that is the working of the executives. The second is the legislature. Their responsibility is to make laws. Their responsibility is to make laws. Whatever laws are there, important aspects of the laws are being taken care. It has been studied. It has been discussed, and then only the laws are being passed. And the third is the judiciary system, where it solves important conflicts which arises out of the constitution or law. A person who breaks the law or constitution of the country, or any of the important law things that are being regulated or it has been made in India, is being taken care by these conflicts are being solved by the judiciary system. The second is the other public related matters or conflicts. Conflict can arise out of two different types. It can be between the governments itself, between a state government or a central government, or individual states governments also. And secondly, it is also related to public who face various legal problems are being taken care by the judiciary system at different levels. So this is all about this particular chapter, where we went through in brief the system of democratic government and how it forms or how it is been regulated or taken care. Now other important thing is that we'll be completing our notes as well of the chapters that are pending very soon. Thank you very much. This is only for this day.